Hello, friends. We are back for our second stream of the night, and we have plenty to talk about in terms of the Traitors from this episode that just aired. So let's not waste any more time. I am Gina Morgino. I am, of course, joined by my two faithful friends, Kyle Petty and John Dumpy, and we make up Strat Chat. Although I don't know how much Strat we can chat because this cast is a freaking disaster and nobody knows what's happening. So, guess we should just dive right on in. Obviously, we open up right where we left off with this whole Phaedra and Parvati thing that's happening. And right from the get, I wanted to ask you guys about this because I saw on socials throughout the week that a lot of people were kind of giving Dan the credit for this. And even Dan in this episode was like, oh yeah, I lit the stick of dynamite and now, I'm just watching everything kind of unfold in front of me. And I personally don't know if Dan gets the credit for this whole like clashing of Phaedra and Parvati, but I don't know if maybe you guys are seeing something that I'm not seeing.
I don't know.
There was a little bit of Dan because I did rewatch the episode like after we first watched it on Thursday, and there was a little bit of him trying to say, "Oh, maybe we can start laying some of the groundwork against Phaedra. How can this kind of work in my favor?" Like he did definitely start to ring that bell first. I think it was really Parvati that kind of like pushed that agenda forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
he did plant some seeds there.
That sounds familiar.
I remember him saying that, at some point we should maybe look at taking a shot at Phaedra, but like to see how everything played out in that episode and then for Dan to be given the credit for that whole blow up, it's like,
right. It's a little bit of a stretch.
Especially, we have plenty to talk about when it comes to Dan, but for somebody who has kept his mouth shut at every round table, like I don't think you really get to claim this one.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch exactly how it unfolded. I do remember there being conversations though about like maybe it could be good to get people to start looking at Phaedra and maybe by saying like something along the lines of like throwing the housewives under the bus. And I think Parvati was the one that was like most vocal about it and ran with it. But I do think that Dan kind of could have been the one that kind of planted that seed.
I'm angry with Dan Giesling, but
yeah, I'm a little over Dan, and like I it was starting to bubble up now. Like last week, and like part of me also believes obviously I'm a little biased. We don't like anything negative to be coming Janelle's way, so like I will give myself that that I'm having a emotional reaction to what's going on, but I just feel like Dan is way too cocky, really feels so amazing about himself. And can we just dial everything back for a hot second? I'm not saying that Dan was not a great Big Brother player, but let's just be honest. You won once 15 years ago. The second time you played, the person that you mentored beat you. So why are you so legendary? There's a lot of one-time winners of Big Brother.
I mean, my whole thing is
so
like, it's not even just about Dan being cocky. Like, of course that is like a piece to it, but it's also like, you should know better than this. I don't know. I feel like we, even as a fan base, have known like this is his legacy. These are the kind of games that he's good at. He's a manipulator. Like this is what he does. So to see, and I like tweeted this during the episode too, like to see Dan Giesling of all people get the same critique multiple episodes in a row of this is why you look suspicious. And Dan Giesling doesn't have the adaptability to figure out how to stop doing the thing that's making him suspicious and pivot his game is baffling to me. Like he knows better than this.
Yeah, because he also thinks that he's better than everyone else. And that is where I think he's going to end up like tripping up. Like there is an air of like, I don't know, like the way that he speaks, I don't know how to describe it. I gotta rewatch it to like get like real quotes and things like that. We had a time limit. I couldn't keep pausing. thing.
Right.
Like he's just like, oh, he just has this air about him, like, oh, I'm just so much smarter than everybody else. I won 15 years ago. It's like, fuck off, bro.
Even just like the thing that he's getting called out for is such a simple thing to fix. Just say a name.
Yeah.
Any name.
If I don't get murdered, then I'll start saying things.
Say something.
Like,
it doesn't
so
matter
annoying.
what it is at this point.
So
You obviously you're gonna be lying, and like even CT called him out. Like everybody has said everybody's name at this point. Everyone's name has been thrown out. Everyone's been throwing around accusations. Just say something. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. You're going to be because you're the one lying. But like at this point, you have to say something, or else you look so suspicious. We've lost what like 6 people at this point, and you have said nothing.
Nary a word.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and he's put himself in like a really terrible position because like I could understand why he probably feels like hesitant to say a name when everybody in the room is saying to you, say a name, and everybody's watching you, all eyes on you. But that's like you've put yourself in that position by not saying a name earlier. Like
everyone wouldn't be begging you to say something if you were just saying things like everyone else was.
Already said something.
Right. And like I know that like Dan, it seems more than like anybody like was so like desperate to be a traitor, and I actually feel like this game would be so much better for him as a faithful. Like I feel like he'd be better suited in this particular game because like he's already a target and he's not saying anything. Like I feel like he's not playing the role of a traitor very well, but like he wanted it so badly.
It's shocking because it like aligns with everything that I know to be true of the way that he plays these games. So I don't know why he's fumbling so hard.
It's crazy to me that like he hasn't come up with any little story about like I'm suspicious of this person because of this. Like you'd think he would have crafted some kind of like story so that when he does get questioned on it, like it's so awkward every time someone asks him and he just sits there like, I don't know.
And even now, he finally says a name, but the name that you say is the name that everyone else has already said and the person that just accused you.
Right.
Like,
that doesn't really count.
That doesn't count.
I'm sorry. Like we keep saying like this is the way that Dan plays these games. What are we talking about? He's played one game successfully once. Like, what do you mean? Like, he's not done anything else. We have seen him in no other environment. And the first time that he's relocated, he's fumbling left, right, and center.
It's really rough.
Oh, but you know, King Dan. Give me that fucking crown.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Oh, you can't see me. I'm stomping. Oh,
you can't see me.
You can't see me, but I'm stomping.
Stomping on that crown.
Stomping on it. Bent up worse than a Burger King birthday crown on somebody's 6th birthday. Okay.
So specific.
Very specific. Because you know that crown got run over. Y'all are crazy.
Well, we again, it's always y'all are crazy. You're the one saying it.
Y'all are crazier because y'all know me for mad long. I came to you as I am. I've never changed. You keep deciding to hang out with me at least once a week. So who's crazier? The person who came to you this way, or the people who accepted it? Exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah, thank you.
But anyway, we got way off the rails. We haven't even talked about who got murdered yet. But we ended up saying goodbye, R.I.P. Tamra. So sorry. A housewife had to go.
We don't know her, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
But
it was nice to see. It was cool to see Phaedra pull the trigger on this too, because I felt like she might not want to go after a housewife. So the fact that she kind of was the one that chose the murder, I thought was good part on her.
I mean, a housewife had to go after that last round table. Like it would have been way too much. Which also I did laugh a little bit because we got a confessional from Janelle being like, everyone keeps talking about the housewives. I don't think the housewives are like savvy enough or have enough skill to be traitors in this game. And I was like, Janelle, with love and respect, were you not the one leading the charge on saying that it had to be a housewife? Like, was that not you throughout the house all last episode?
Yeah, but you know what? I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
I'm not so sure that maybe a housewife had to go. Fine. But I still think that Phaedra should have fought a little bit harder against this decision because they still got what they wanted at the end of this whole thing. You know, so you sassed Parvati real hard and you said, like, oh, don't be coming for me. Don't be coming for me. Don't be lumping me in with that. But you still let her get her way. So those seeds that were planted still reaped something. And that's not good, Phaedra.
I don't know, though. It wasn't even that, like, Phaedra let it happen. Phaedra was the one who's, like, they said, like, Parvati was like, I'm going to let Phaedra take this murder as, like, an extension of, like, the olive branch of, like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, this is a peace offering. And Phaedra said, Tamra.
Yeah, she did, but I feel like that was also Phaedra trying to show that she had, like, I don't know, like she's putting like good jujus into these conversations, right? Like I kind of sassed you a little bit. I came for you. I gave you a little bit of a hard time, but let me just show you how I'm willing to compromise. I'm gonna let you have this one. But I don't think that she realizes who she's playing with. You know, she's playing with two very, very tricky people who know how to play this game deceitfully and correctly. So, like, these are not the people that you want to be making a compromise with. I feel like she should have fought just a little bit more because that was a number in your corner, whether or not you knew Tamara that well or not.
Right. No, yeah, I definitely agree with all that. I honestly, I just looked at it as a good thing for Phaedra because it shows that she's willing to cut people even if she feels like she's close to them. So like while she might not have like really led the charge, like, at least it shows that like she's willing to kind of be a cutthroat player if she feels like she has to, you know, that's all.
Yeah, is it too soon to be showing that level of compromise? Right? Because Phaedra arguably is the most insulated person in the turret.
Sure.
So do you really want to allow these people to start cutting some of your numbers? Because it's going to start putting you on an even plane as them. And that's not really where you want to be. Because every name that seems to come up at this round table, Parvati came up like once a little bit, like I think earlier. Dan is now coming up a lot. No one is looking at Phaedra.
Yeah,
and I think
haven't heard
having those
once.
numbers. Yeah, having those numbers around her, I think is what's kind of keeping her safe. And if you keep allowing these compromises to fly, you might start finding yourself in some troubles.
Yeah, I see that. I do wonder, like you said, it could have been too early, and if it happens too much, if you let Dan and Parvati kind of run it too much and your numbers start getting cut, that could be bad. But I almost wonder if Phaedra saw this as an opportunity too, to be like, people like eyes will be even more off me if a housewife goes, because they know that I would never want to get rid of a housewife. So like maybe it's like a you know, worth it to cut Tamara there, but like you definitely don't want it to happen more and more as the game goes on, like you're saying.
Right. No, totally. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. And that's why I'm really glad that we get only one episode per week. So we kind of can see how this one
right.
kind of pans out. But those are my initial concerns, like going into this. It's like we're being compromising a little too early.
Phaedra's so funny too, because it's like, it surprises me that more people aren't saying her name, because her reactions to things are like, if you're paying attention, like she was so unbothered at breakfast to see a housewife be murdered. She was like, what? Like did not care at all. It was so funny.
So this is the clip that I brought that I was mentioning, and this was one of my favorite moments of the whole episode. Like it was so funny.
Oh my God. Are there any boiled eggs? I don't think Tamara's murder says anything about anything.
It doesn't.
It gives
another
zero
but
information.
they're still moving forward and chipping away at Faith.
Yeah. Boiled eggs?
That
does not care at all. She's just like stuffing her face like, whatever, man. I'm like, girl, one of yours just got murdered. Be a little upset. Like, what's happening?
Are there any boiled eggs around?
So unbothered. I was like, Phaedra. Oh, so silly.
Matt cured my depression.
She's so funny. I love her so much. But yeah, was there anything else about breakfast? I feel like we already kind of talked about CT like ripping into Dan a little bit, but is there anything more about that anybody like? Because it was wild to see him just be like, why aren't you saying anything? I was like, CT of all people is not the person that I would peg to be like the strategic player in this game. So like to see him be like, Dan, you're being suspicious. What the hell is going on? Like calling him out. I was like not prepared for that from him of all people.
See, if you've known CT for a little while, like while he may not,
yeah, you guys would know better than me.
Yeah, he may not always spearhead a charge, but when he is like really, really convinced and convicted on something, like he will die on that hill. Like,
but he was not letting Dan breathe.
Right. I didn't know that he was that passionate about this game, so I guess that surprised me. But once I saw it, it's like, okay, I identify with this. This checks. This totally tracks. But I just didn't think he cared that much.
Fair
I thought he
enough.
was just here for a good time, a long time.
It seems like he's really having a fun time though. Like in that mission they did to collect the money, like with the bird sounds and stuff.
I loved this mission.
Yeah, like there was a point where like they were all running up to Alan, and you could see CT running up, and he just had this huge smile on his face. And I feel like
CT got me when he was doing like the radio announcer into like the microphone.
Oh yeah.
What is this goofy little man? Like, what's happening?
I love CT.
Him and Phaedra seem to be close too.
Well,
she
was like a couple episodes ago, she was like thirsting over him. I was like, what's happening here? I think I even saw on Twitter people like, I don't know if they were like making a little haha or like if there's any like proof to this or whatever, but like people are like shipping them hard.
I mean,
maybe
CT has never not been hot though. I mean, like from the very first moment he appeared at us to now, like dad bod, not dad bod, I don't care. It's my bod. That's what I'm here for.
It's my bod.
I like it.
Yeah, come on, I'm booed up.
But no, this mission was so much fun. It was fun watching Alan laughing at their bad bird calls. It was fun watching them just like yell out sounds into the like intercom or whatever. Watch them run. Like I had so much fun watching this one.
When they were all running around the house going, meh, meh. Like, all of them trying
just looking dead into the camera like, what is happening?
Fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. I also I thought it was fun in this one because I feel like in the other challenges it hasn't really been a secret who gets the shield. You can see people doing it like right in front of your face. So to have the shield be this kind of like secretive thing of like only if they want to reveal that they have a shield will you know who it is. I thought that was like a fun element, which also then leads us to, you know, this whole like Peter strategy of getting everybody who is eligible for the shield to agree to not tell anybody so he could then leak incorrect information to see what comes of it later. Like, what do you think about that? Okay, cool. Good talk.
With Peter. I thought it was interesting. Peter seems to be like he's definitely on to people. I think he's named Dan and Parvati, right? The only one that he's off on is CT, because he's suspicious of CT. So he's definitely like a good player. He's definitely seems to be pretty strategic. I did think it was a risk though, because like if any of them do talk to somebody and say, hey, like this is what Peter told me, and they're like, oh well, Peter told me this and he told me not to tell anybody, but apparently he's telling multiple people, like he's clearly trying to find something out. So I felt like if the wrong people talk to each other and figured it out, then like it could be trouble for him, but we'll see.
I'm impressed that he's playing in a strategic manner. You know, he's not just here just like to hang out and sip wine. You know, he's here to play. He seems to be pretty in tune to things. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Like,
I feel like I always discount the people from the love shows, which is unfair. Like I shouldn't be that way, but like, and it's even on like the Challenge USA, we see the Love Island people, and I'm like, nah. Like I just kind of like assume they're not going to be good at it. So like even like someone from The Bachelor, I'm like, he's not looking at this in a strategic way. He's just here to like play a game. So for him to be the one to kind of lay this out of like, no, I have this strategy. Here's the people I'm suspicious of. Here's how I'm going to see what's going on. Like just, it was very, very interesting that Peter of all people was kind of the one to like spearhead. And to Janelle too, being like, hey, listen, this is what I'm going to do. And she was like, how do you come up with that one? Like,
very smart, very smart.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
He is dangerous, and it certainly is something important to note. You know, because simply because this person came from a love show does not mean they don't understand, you know, the workings of a game like this. You know, I could totally see Gina ending up on a Love is Blind, but that doesn't mean that she couldn't play one of these other games. I'm using you as an example because you love that show. total fucking trash.
I was like, are you implying I am the least strategic of the three of us here?
No, but I think that's kind of what makes it interesting, is because you understand, the workings of a game like this. But if your first opportunity was to show up on Love Is Blind, of course you would take it,
Sure.
As would anyone else, So like, we really should stop discounting these Love Island, Love Is Blinders,
Temptation Island.
I have to like, well,
Temptation Island.
Now, John.
I'm sorry. The people that end up on Temptation Island will only end up on Temptation Island.
Queen Nafisa.
Yikes.
I'll add nothing to that. I have nothing.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, she's only a queen because she's gorgeous. Everything about her otherwise is rather deplorable.
Come on.
Can you really stand behind her behavior? Honestly, can you say that to us tonight on this Thursday?
I thought she really displayed herself very well.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
You think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just because your back is against the wall. The fire is on your balls.
What? Your back is against the wall and the fire is on your balls.
Yes, you're feeling all the pressure. And you're just having to defend this woman. But like, she doesn't deserve it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing redeemable other than her physical qualities.
I think there's way more to her than you're giving credit for, How did this become a whole conversation?
I don't know. Anyway, so we bet $10,000. I love that for us.
You brought her into this conversation. Don't fault me for challenging it.
So
and we're not going to drop it. So tell me, what about Queen Nafisa is redeemable? What do you like about Nafisa?
Wow, great job, Faithfuls. You did a great job banking $10,000 in the challenge. Moving on.
Oh my God.
Crazy madness. On the heels of the challenge, though, we got what is my personal favorite part of the episode, the return of Queen Kate. I am so excited to have Kate back in this game. And I love that she came in like ready to play, because as we have spoken about multiple times, she wanted out in season 1. She wanted no part of it, did not want to be there at all. So to see her come in and be like, I can't wait to get back in here. Alan's like obsessed with me. I don't know why. He can't leave me alone, but here I am again, and like ready to cause chaos, to like blow everything up. I do kind of wish she had the opportunity to be a traitor, which like maybe we will see that in the future, but I don't know. I'm just really excited to see her back in.
Yeah, me too. I love Kate. Yeah, I guess I wonder if part of the reason they didn't make her a traitor is because were already 3. Like maybe if they had lost one at some point and they were down to 2, maybe they would have made her one. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how late in the season Ari was recruited last year.
I don't remember.
Because I feel like they got Cody relatively early.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact breakdown. I feel like Ari, though, I remember it feeling like he wasn't a traitor for very long. I don't know, like, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, hopefully we see Traitor Kate later in the season, if any of these people can freaking get a traitor out of this game. Which, at this point, who's to say? I did think it was interesting, though, that they brought her right into the vote and like made her cast a vote with literally no information. Like, she didn't even know anybody's name when she sat down at that round table.
Yeah, I did enjoy the back and forth between her and Kevin too. Kevin was like, what was going on with him?
Talk about Kevin for a second. Why is he so rude all of a sudden? He's so nasty. The way he was talking to Janelle was so nasty. Snapping at Kate, being like, Kate, pay attention. Like, he just, like, what are you doing? Why are you being like this? Where did this come from?
And he was just trying to ask somebody what Kevin's name was.
Yeah.
Just be like, what's his name again? And he was like, excuse me, can you stop interrupting?
Like, who the hell are you? Like, what is your issue? Oh God, no, he's like really pissing me off. He started out just being like the guy that didn't really understand what was going on, and he was just kind of like expendable. And now he's an irritant. Like, just get rid of him.
Yeah, He was interesting at this roundtable for sure, I thought.
It's so frustrating to watch. But
I
of
also
course,
just think that Kevin has just had enough. You know, like I'm not a fan of Kevin at all, but everyone has like talked over him, silenced him, ignored him, disregarded him. I think he's just had enough. Every time he sits at this table, no one's paying any attention to him. And he said, "No, you're going to listen to me this time." And lady from below deck that I don't know, you're most certainly going to listen to me. Like, that's kind of how I took it.
I
Like,
just don't like the way he talks to people.
no, I don't like it either. I just think when you look at it not subjectively, you know, it's like I just think this man has had enough of the disrespect, and he's not here for it anymore. And that attitude, I am here for.
Except in this episode where it was directed at Janelle, I'm sure.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like what you were doing with your attitude, but I do like I like that the attitude has shown up. Yeah, I'll say
Right.
that. Yeah.
Do you think Kevin is like will just be fine now, or do you think that anyone will look at him because he was like he was the one that sat down at the table and was like, I want to say something, I don't want to be interrupted, and then went into this whole thing about how Janelle is a traitor, and of course we find out she's a faithful.
Especially because like his whole argument was like Janelle has to be a traitor because she so loudly accuses other people and is wrong, and then he very loudly accused Janelle and was wrong. So
Right.
I don't really know how this is going to shake out for him.
Right.
So
It may
curious.
not bode well for him long game.
I feel like we had a lot of accusations at this roundtable, though. Like Janelle, right from the get, then was like, "It's Dan, it's CT, and it's Sandra. 100%, 3 people. Bing, bang, boom. Those are the traitors." And it was like, "Whoa, you are very confident and very incorrect."
Right.
And
Yeah,
CT too was
33%
like, "How is it me again?"
Right. But the Sandra and Janelle exchange was really something also.
Oh wow. yes. That was a big yikes when the voting when it started coming
kept
down to
yelling back and forth at each other. You're a fucking traitor.
You're a traitor. You're a traitor. I'm like, you're both wrong. Please stop. Like, mom and mom are fighting. I don't like it.
That's what's gonna have to like save Dan, I think, at this point, is that like one of those other interactions, like something else is gonna have to happen. I feel like there's too many eyes on him right now. Like I feel like he's the most likely to get banished next, I think.
Yeah, I think Dan is going to be in big trouble because, not to like jump too far ahead, but we did see that like apparently this whole like throw them off course with who has the shield thing looks like it might work, because like Dan is like very dead set on trying to murder Bergie, which I don't know why he would do that when there are other options that like couldn't have gotten the shield. I don't know why you wouldn't just play it safe in this moment. And I don't know if you guys caught on the next on, if you happen to watch it, but like we saw during the voting, like they had like a camera angle straight up on Bergie. So like he's there. So if they do go along with this plan of trying to murder Bergie, we've already seen in the next on that he's at the round table. So either that's not who gets murdered, or Dan is in really, really big trouble.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll, end up changing his mind or something and saying, let's go the safe route.
I hope so, because if he tried to murder Bergie and Bergie is still there, that is going to be a big red flag.
Right. And it's funny because I feel like the much better thing would be to get rid of Peter, which you actually could do, because Peter's
There's
the one that
plenty of options.
Yeah. And I guess, I know that it was brought up between Parvati and Dan in the turret, but like they both acknowledged that Peter had come up to them and said that he has the shield. Don't tell anybody. It's like, in your mind, like, would you believe him that he has the shield, or would you say like he's so full of shit?
I mean, whether I believed him or not, at that point, like knowing right off the bat that he's told 2 people, don't tell anybody, I might as well like just go for somebody that it can't be. I know it's possible that one of these, whatever 6 people has it. So let's just take those 6 people off the table. Like, better safe than sorry. We'll get them next week.
I guess what's I mean, it's interesting. I mean, because I feel like the risk of like, let's say they take the shot at Peter and they're right and they get him out. Like, are people that could really help the traitors? I feel like in a way because they might, the faithful might now also be like, all right, well, if they were confident enough to take that shot at someone in the group that we knew had the shield, like maybe it's the traitors or someone in that group because how do they know who had the shield and who didn't? Like. So I
Yeah,
can
in a
see like
perfect world, but to take the shot and miss.
oh sure, it's definitely a big risk, but
I don't know. I need Dan to be smarter than this is what I need. I need him to stop doing what he's doing and be better.
well,
I actually want Dan to go. I would love to see who they end up recruiting when he leaves. There's no path to a recruitment, and like I do love a good recruitment. And honestly, like if I had to lose somebody, I'd rather lose Dan than like Parvati or Phaedra. So
yeah.
It's just so unfortunate. This is not how Dan playing the Traitors was supposed to be.
No, it was supposed to be amazing and brilliant and fantastic, and it's been anything but, in my opinion.
I debated changing my name for him. This is what he does. I'm so glad I made the correct choice.
Thank goodness you didn't. Yeah.
Wow. Oh man.
But
Sorry,
unfortunately, in this episode, we did say goodbye to the Lady Janelle. Deepest apologies to one Kyle Petty.
Really broke my heart.
It's rough.
I realized I didn't change my name to hers. It wasn't a sign of disrespect. It's just I'm gay. So, of course I went with CT. Like, I'm sorry, but I love Janelle. Fuck.
No pure Xena in this house. So sorry.
Damn. Sorry, Janelle.
Kyle, do you have any parting words?
We'll miss you. We'll miss you always. I always miss you. And for this, you should have just been on Reindeer Games. We might have had a very different result if Janelle was there.
Yeah, but if Franzel was there, Janelle was not going to be there.
I know, but she wanted to be. She wanted to be, and she was told that she could not be.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I said that. Yeah, she wanted to be, and she said she was not allowed to be because she was going to be on TV the following month. So CBS said no.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
That sucks.
So there was a world where Janelle might have come back, but we lost her because we got on the Traitors, and then we were done dirty. So thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for nothing. That is a bummer.
Yeah. So I will forever lament that decision.
Oh, sorry, Janelle. Sorry, Janelle. I'm trying to think.
What?
Is there anything else from this episode? I feel like that's kind of all I had.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't think anything else.
Like that feels incorrect. It feels like we weren't talking for that long, but like for the amount of things that went down.
Yeah, when you think about also, like, I mean, the episode was 50-something minutes long. We've been talking for 33 minutes. Like,
I feel like I came in like there is so much to say. But yeah, no.
Yeah, but everything that we have to say is centered around disappointment.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I am just excited to see what happens next, though. If they try to take the shot at Bergie, or if they change it up, if it fails.
I'm stressed out. I couldn't believe that they put Bergie in the next on after ending on that cliffhanger. I was like, dear editors, what?
Do better.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
I almost wonder if it was intentional, though, because like I wonder if they want you to think like, oh, did they fail or did they change up their decision? Like,
because they also had a wide shot on the full table, and I did not clock how many of them there were.
Yeah,
the numbers were correct, but like they showed the whole table and then did like a zoom in on Bergie, and I was like, wait, you just left us on a cliffhanger. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, because it was so obvious that I would like to think I would like to think, I could be totally wrong, that like they're almost trying to like double fake us. Like for all we know, it was an old shot or something. They're like, oh, the last they saw, we were, the traitors were talking about getting Bergie out, so let's throw a shot of him in the next on.
Maybe, I don't know. But judging by the fact that the last thing I complained about was the fact that the editors showed me Dan's hand moving and the letters of like everything he was writing, I'm not too confident.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. But yeah, so if that's all we got,
I
think it's time to wrap her up.
Sounds good.
4:11. That's actually pretty nice.
What a treat. and much to Kyle's enjoyment, we actually did a quick one.
A quickie, a Strat quickie.
But all that being said, we when will we be back? Did we decide on?
No,
I didn't make a decision.
Let it marinate on the Strat, crack Strat chat on Saturday.
I will say, in a surprise turn of events, I'm actually not working on Saturday night, so it doesn't have to be midnight. If it doesn't have to be midnight for you, so just throwing that out there.
That does change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love a solo movie night. Nobody's invited. The door is locked.
But yeah, so we will be in touch on when we will see you next. We will.
Yeah, because I really do feel like if we don't do it like an Australian Survivor draft before it premieres, then I'm not interested in doing it then.
Sure.
Right. Yeah,
unless
absolutely.
you're leaving X amount of people like on the table. Like I don't think that we should be that introduced to people before we draft things.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's not Saturday, like I know Sundays I can't really commit to. So
yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
But so we will let you know on the socials at Strat Chat Pod everywhere, where we will be next. But that aside, we will definitely be here next Thursday to talk about the Challenge 39 and then the Traitors yet again. You can find us anywhere that you podcast at Strat Chat Pod. We are on Spotify, Apple Music, the YouTubes, anywhere that you get your podcast. Leave us a nice review because we're nice people. And yeah, we will see you next week. Goodbye, friends. Wait, oh no.
Ooh.